So we're coming up to the last few weeks before the MRCGP AKT exam. A really common question I get asked is, what should I be focusing on? How can I make the most of this time that's left? Hopefully by this stage, you've already covered systematically the bulk of the RCGP AKT curriculum. You might not have finished all of it, but you should have done the bulk of it. So what I'd recommend you do in this stage is filling any gaps. Make sure for clinical you've covered any areas that you're less confident in. Sometimes doctors, we have tendency that if there's a subject that we find challenging or we've never really enjoyed, we avoid it. But it's really important that you cover those topics. And then make sure you recap all of the key stats and admin topics. That's because stats and admin combined are 20% of your exam. However, because there's only so many questions they can ask you in each of these domains, if you cover them really well, it's very manageable to get 80% plus in stats and admin. Now, if you can get 80% plus in stats and admin, you only need 70% in clinical and you can pass. Now, clinical's huge. So many topics. That's why, you can't just cram it all in a few weeks. By this stage, you should have covered the bulk of it. Fill in any gaps, then make sure you've covered all of the topics in the high yield topics checklist. So this is something that I update after every single exam. I've analysed every single RCGP examiner's report where they highlight topics that people didn't do well in and topics that are important. These are frequently retested. So if you cover these topics, what you'll find is a lot of these are going to come up in the exam. All right, so do those, and then the last couple of weeks, make sure you sit down and do at least a couple of full timed mock exams in exam conditions. Don't look anything up as you go. Don't read any answers and explanations. Just sit down and do a full mock, then spend a few hours going through answers, explanations. Then that will give you a focus as to what things did I not do as well as I thought I would. Maybe you don't realize that you need to update yourself, maybe some guidelines that you missed, maybe some things that have changed recently, maybe something that you just hadn't read. And then what things, am I doing well in? And that will allow you to focus in the last week, 10 days on filling in any gaps. All right. So just to recap, go over all the key stats topics, all the key admin topics, all of the high yield clinical topics, do some time mocks to get used to exam technique, managing your time. And then night before the exam, get a good night's rest. Don't be staying up late trying to cram new knowledge. You've learned it at this stage. Go to the exam, be confident in all of the hard work you've done, and it's all going to pay off because you're going to smash that exam. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much. Do subscribe to the channel for more tips for MRCGP.